One of my favorite things in college football is quarterback recruiting, and each and every year I always find this fascinating. Who are the 5 stars, who are the guys who have a lot of potential, and who are those guys who are late risers who could be hidden gems? I love it all, and in today's video, we're going to do a unique spin on it, as I'm going to go through the top quarterback recruit from each and every state in America. There are obviously going to be some states that don't have a guy who's in the 24/7 Sports database, but for the most part, they all do. And we're going to talk about who the top quarterback is from each and every state, who they are, and where they are going. But before we get started, if you're a big fan of college football, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you want to support today's video, and let me know what player, team, topic, or situation I can cover next. Now let's get started. Okay, so this will be in alphabetical order, and the first state is Alabama. Their top guy is a quarterback by the name of KJ Lacey, as he's a 4-star from Maryland who committed to Texas over teams like Bama and Auburn. He threw for 3,500 yards, 42 touchdowns, and 8 picks as a junior, and was named Alabama's Mr. Football his senior year after once again throwing for over 3,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 7 picks. He ended up leading Saraland to a 13-1 record, and he's the 19th ranked quarterback in the class of 2025 and the 15th best player in the state of Alabama. Unfortunately for all you Alaska fans, there is no quarterback in the database, so we're going to have to go ahead and skip them. For Arizona, we need to talk about Luke Huego. He's a 3-star recruit from Higley High School in Phoenix, and he committed to the Arizona Wildcats. He's the 69th best quarterback in the class and the 13th best player in the state of Arizona. He was injured for most of his junior year, but he did throw for 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions as a senior. His main recruiting draw is that he is 6'5" with a strong arm, and he's been seen as a hidden gem type prospect. I could see him blowing up down the road. In the state of Arkansas, we have Grayson Wilson, as he's a 3-star quarterback from Conway High School. He ended up committing to the Arizona Razorbacks and became the 26th best quarterback in the class and the 2nd best player in the state of Arkansas. He went 9-3 as a starter his junior year, throwing for 3,400 yards with 41 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and also ran for 800 yards and 15 touchdowns. At 6'3", he put up really good numbers and could be a hometown hero for the Arkansas Razorbacks. I like this guy. In the state of California, we get to talk about 5-star quarterback from Centennial High School, Husan Longstreet. He ended up committing to USC after originally being committed to Texas A&M. He's the 4th best quarterback in the class of 2025 and the 3rd best player in the state. He threw for 1,641 yards with 19 touchdowns his senior year, and also ran for about 500 yards and 6 scores. Some say he's very similar to Caleb Williams, which is why Lincoln Riley wanted him so badly at USC and got him to flip from Texas A&M after Juju Lewis left for Colorado. Okay, so from the state of Colorado, we have Austin Motorszewski, as he's a 3-star quarterback from Mountain Vista High School in Littleton, and he's committed to the South Dakota Coyotes. He actually chose them over an SEC offer in Kentucky, and he is the 150th best quarterback in the class of 2025 and the 10th best player in the state of Colorado. He ended up throwing for 3,700 yards and 41 touchdowns as a junior, and then 3,400 yards and 57 touchdowns as a senior. He was a back-to-back Gatorade Player of the Year in the state, and this guy's going to put up crazy numbers at South Dakota. Honestly, I'm not sure why he wasn't more highly regarded, but still, this is a big deal. In the state of Connecticut, we have Blake Hebert, who's a 4-star quarterback from the Brunswick School in Greenwich. He ended up committing to Notre Dame after originally being committed to Clemson, and at the time of his commitment to the Tigers, he was listed as a borderline 5-star. He's now considered a 4-star and one of the top players in the state, but after sitting out his junior season with an ankle injury, he threw for 2,100 yards his senior year and 26 touchdowns, and I think will be a hidden gem for Notre Dame, and a guy who is criminally underrated. Okay, so coming out of the DC area, we have Cameron Boykin. He's a 3-star quarterback from the Merritt School in Maryland who's committed to Temple. He's the 145th best quarterback in the class of 2025 and the 9th best player to come out of DC. As a junior, he threw for 1,800 yards with 19 touchdowns, and as a senior, he built upon that with 2,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 3 picks. He has a very strong arm with a lot of zip, but is still pretty much a building project and sort of raw. Delaware unfortunately does not make the list, as they did not have a guy. In the state of Florida, we need to talk about Ty Hawkins. The 4-star quarterback comes from the prestigious IMG Academy, and he committed to SMU over TCU. He's the 18th best quarterback in the class of 2025 and the 29th best player in the state of Florida. He's a true dual threat, as he had over 2,000 rushing yards in his high school career. As a junior, he passed for 2,300 yards and 25 touchdowns, and following that, he would transfer to IMG. In his one season there, he finished with over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 2 picks. I like Ty Hawkins a lot, but his numbers do seem a bit underwhelming. From the state of Georgia, we get to talk about Julian Lewis. He's a 4-star quarterback from Carrollton High School in Georgia who committed to Colorado. Originally, he was a class of 2026 guy who was number 1 in the country and committed to USC, but he decided to reclassify. He's currently the 10th best quarterback in the class and the 15th best player in the state. During his junior season, Lewis threw for 3,000 yards, 48 touchdowns, and only 2 picks. He'll be competing with Caden Salter for Colorado's starting quarterback job since Shedeur Sanders decided to enter the NFL draft. From the Aloha State, we have Jaron Keave Sagapuatele. He ended up going to James Campbell High School in Hawaii, and he is currently at California. He originally blew up and decided to sign with Oregon, but after spring practices started, he entered the portal and went to Cal. As a junior, he threw for 3,800 yards and 37 touchdowns, and would decide to enroll early at Oregon. His senior year, he got even better, throwing for 3,400 yards with 46 touchdowns and 3 picks, and actually passed Dylan Gabriel's record. He ended up becoming a 5-star at one point, but ended up falling to a high 4. He's now going to compete with Devin Brown at Cal for the starting job. From the state of Idaho, we have to talk about Zeke Martinez. He's a 3-star from the town of Meridian, and he's committed to Boise State. He's the 213th best quarterback in the class of 2025 and the 13th best player in the state. He's been the best high school quarterback in Idaho over the last few years, finishing with a career record of 7,722 yards and 86 total touchdowns. He's also the Class 6A Player of the Year, and maybe he'll be an underrated gem at Boise. In the state of Illinois, we need to talk about Ryan Fitzgerald. He's a 3-star quarterback from Loyola Academy, and he's committed as a preferred walk-on to Iowa. He's the 77th best quarterback in the class and the 37th best player from the state. He's actually the son of former Northwestern head coach Pat Fitzgerald. He ended up throwing for 2,700 yards and 34 touchdowns, and he has a state championship under his belt and went undefeated as a starter his junior year. In the state of Indiana, my favorite state, we have the quarterback of Jimmy Sullivan. He's a 3-star quarterback from Carroll High School in Fort Wayne and is actually the 65th best quarterback in the class of 2025. As a senior, Sullivan threw for just over 2,000 yards and 24 touchdowns, and he's widely considered one of the most accurate passers in the Midwest this year and chose Iowa over Illinois and Michigan State. Speaking of Iowa, in that state we have to talk about Alex Mansky. The 3-star ended up committing to Iowa State, and he's considered the 36th best quarterback in the class of 2025 and the number 6 player overall in the state. He's a multi-sport athlete with lots of athleticism, but is not a finished product. He chose the Cyclones over Iowa, Nebraska, K-State, and Texas A&M, and he threw for 1,500 yards and 18 touchdowns and no interceptions before an injury would end his senior season. Going over to the state of Kansas, we need to talk about Banks Bowen. He's a 3-star recruit from Lawrence who decided to commit to Tulsa. He's the 224th ranked athlete in the class of 2025, and he made the switch from defensive back to quarterback his junior season, throwing for 1,700 yards and 13 touchdowns. His senior year, he increased those numbers to 2,400 yards and 23 touchdowns, and he also ran for 860 yards and 9 scores. Tulsa is getting a gem, and maybe this guy will blow up. In the state of Kentucky, we need to talk about Deuce Bailey. He's a 3-star quarterback coming from Bowling Green High School in Kentucky, and he's committed to the Missouri State Bears. He's the 103rd best quarterback in the class of 2025 and the 15th best player in the state of Kentucky. He led Bowling Green to 3 straight state title games and was the player of the year in both his junior and senior seasons. He threw for 3,200 yards and 45 touchdowns to go along with 400 yards and 5 scores on the ground. I'm not sure why he didn't have FBS interest. From the state of Louisiana, the best guy is Joshua Brantley. He's a 3-star quarterback from Ruston, Louisiana, who's committed to Tulane. He's the 81st ranked athlete in the class of 2025, and he finished his junior season with 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns, with 784 yards and 11 scores as well. While he's listed as a quarterback right now, he's believed to be making the Tulane roster as a safety this year at 6'4", and this is given how raw he is as a passer. I'm sorry to the state of Maine, but you didn't have anybody either, so we're going to go ahead and skip over you. In the state of Maryland, we need to talk about Malik Washington. He's a 4-star quarterback from Archbishop Spalding High School in Maryland, and he's committed to the Terrapins. He's the 5th best quarterback in the class of 2025 and the 2nd best player in the state of Maryland, both of whom are staying in state. He's a true dual threat, as he had nearly 2,000 yards and 22 touchdowns through the air and 8 touchdowns on the ground. He's both an Army and Under Armour All-American and went 25-0 as a starter, which is really cool. In the state of Massachusetts, we have Cole Gear. He's a 3-star quarterback from Deerfield Academy, and he committed to Virginia. He's the 98th best quarterback in the class of 2025, and he chose Virginia over offers from Boston College, UMass, UConn, and Virginia Tech. He's a dual-threat quarterback as well, as he had the top athlete score at the Elite 11. He went 7-3 as a starter his junior year, but will need to grow more before he's ready to play at the Power 4 level. For the state of Michigan, we have Bryce Underwood. He's the top quarterback in the 2025 class, and after being originally committed to LSU, we all know he flipped to the Wolverines. Over 4 years as a starter, Underwood went 50-4 with nearly 12,000 yards and 152 touchdowns. He's already signed as an early enrollee, and people at Michigan are saying he's already creating a ton of buzz and will likely be the day one starter. I'm excited to see what Underwood can do, and this guy is a freak. From the state of Minnesota, we have Christian Hooge. He's a 2-star quarterback from Pillager Secondary School, and he just isn't committed anywhere yet. I'm not quite sure why, but at 6'6", he should get offers. I guess it's because of pedestrian numbers, as he only threw for 500 yards and 8 touchdowns his senior year. From the state of Mississippi, we have 5-star quarterback from George County High School in Deuce Knight. He decided to commit to Auburn after originally being committed to Notre Dame. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the class of 2025, and one thing that makes him pretty interesting is that he is actually a lefty quarterback. He ended up throwing for 2,000 yards and 25 touchdowns as a senior, with 450 yards and 12 scores on the ground. He spent time flipping between the state of Mississippi and the state of Tennessee, and some say he's Cam Newton 2.0. From the state of Missouri, we have Carson Boyd. He ended up going to Cardinal Ritter College Prep, the same place as Jameson Williams, and he's committed to Illinois. He's the 48th best quarterback in the class of 2025 and the 11th best prospect in the state of Missouri. He won back-to-back state championships and was 28-0 as a starter. He had 2,200 yards and 29 touchdowns. He also ran for just under 600 yards and 6 scores on the ground, and he's a guy who I think fits Brett Bielema's system really well. From the state of Montana, we have Grant Vigen. He's the son of Montana State's head coach Brent Vigen, and that's where he's committed for 2025. He's a 3-star quarterback coming out of Bozeman, Montana, and he's the 130th best gunslinger in the class. He's 6'6" with a rocket arm, but he needs some refining. That's why he ended up at his dad's school instead of an FBS program. Shockingly, the state of Nebraska doesn't have a quarterback prospect, and that's kind of sad. In the state of Nevada, we have Melvin Spicer. He's a 3-star quarterback coming out of Bishop Gorman, and he's the 160th best QB in the class and the 22nd best player from the state. He also is not committed anywhere, but his 2 main offers were Hawaii and Portland State. He actually got beat out his junior year before it started, and only played in 6 games with 463 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 2 picks. New Hampshire did not have a quarterback either. In New Jersey, we need to talk about Jack Moran. He's a 3-star quarterback from the Hun School in Princeton, and he's committed to Jacksonville State. He's the 78th best quarterback in the class and the 41st best player from the state. He chose Jacksonville State over Maryland, East Carolina, Florida Atlantic, and Charlotte, and he was the 2024 New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year with a state record 4,500 yards and 47 touchdowns. There was even one game where he had 7 scores. This guy is good. From the state of New Mexico, we have 4-star quarterback Cameron Dyer as he went to La Cueva High School in Albuquerque. He ended up committing to Arizona State and is the 6th best athlete in the class of 2025 and the best player in the state. He won the state championship as a junior, throwing for 29 touchdowns and running for 26 more. He'll be staying at quarterback instead of moving to a different position, and the Sun Devils really got a gem here. From the state of New York, we have Gary Merrill. He's one of 3 quarterback commits on this list, as he's a 3-star quarterback from St. Anthony's School in Long Island and the 109th best athlete in the class. He committed to North Carolina to play both football and lacrosse, which makes him perfect for Coach Belichick. He threw for 1,800 yards and 19 touchdowns as a senior, and added nearly 2,000 more and 32 scores on the ground. Speaking of UNC commits, Bryce Baker is another guy. He's a 4-star recruit from East Forsyth High School in North Carolina, and he's the 12th best quarterback in the class of 2025. As a senior, he threw for 3,500 yards and 40 touchdowns, and he originally committed to Mac Brown at UNC, but decided to stay at Tar Heel once they hired Coach Belichick. Sorry, North Dakota, you also don't have a guy. In the state of Ohio, coming out of Bellefontaine High School, we have Tavian St. Clair. He will be at Ohio State and is a 5-star quarterback. As a senior, St. Clair threw for 2,600 yards and 29 touchdowns, and his junior season was even better. He had nearly 4,000 yards and 37 touchdowns. He has great size and ability and should be the next great Ohio State quarterback after Julian Sayin. In the state of Oklahoma, we have Grady Adamson. He's a 3-star quarterback from Deer Creek High School, and he's committed to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. He's the 38th ranked quarterback in the country and the 11th best player in the state. As a junior, he won the Offensive Player of the Year, throwing for 2,600 yards and 28 touchdowns, as well as rushing for 577 yards and 7 scores. His dad used to play offensive line at Dartmouth, so football is in his family. In the state of Oregon, we have Nolan Keeney. He's a 3-star quarterback from Tualatin High School in Oregon, and he's committed to BYU. He's the 62nd best quarterback in the class of 2025, and as a junior, he broke his collarbone and was out for most of the year, but was able to come back into a starting position for the playoffs. Over his high school career, he had over 6,000 yards and 76 touchdowns. From the state of Pennsylvania, we have Matt Zollers. He's a 4-star quarterback from Springford High School, and he's going to be at Mizzou. He's the 9th best quarterback in the class and the 2nd best player in the state. He's also a true dual threat, as he put up big numbers his first 3 years, but as a senior, he got severely hurt with a broken ankle, and he only finished with 400 yards and 1 touchdown. Hopefully he rehabs well and pushes for a starting job this year. At Rhode Island, there's nobody. In the state of South Carolina, we have A.J. Brand. He's a 3-star quarterback from Irmo High School, and he's committed to Virginia Tech. He's actually the 36th best athlete in the class and the 12th best player in the state. He put up video game numbers as a junior, throwing for just under 3,000 yards, with 45 passing touchdowns, as well as over 1,000 yards and 17 touchdowns on the ground. He can play multiple positions, but the Hokies want him as a quarterback. From the state of South Dakota, we have Sam Nuth. He ended up going to Harrisburg High School, and he's committed to the in-state Black Hills State Jackets. He's the 212th best quarterback in the class and the 9th best player in the state. From the state of Tennessee, we have George McIntyre. He's obviously the son of Mike McIntyre, and coming out of Brentwood Academy, he was at one point the top quarterback in the class and a 5-star, but he fell to number 17. He was built for the deep ball, standing at 6'6", and he threw for 3,200 yards and 25 touchdowns as a junior. He's seen as a true gunslinger and will fit well in Josh Heupel's offense. I'm not sure why he fell. In the state of Texas, which is rich with quarterback talent, we have Keelan Russell. He's a 5-star quarterback from Duncanville High School, and he originally committed to SMU but flipped to Alabama. He's the 2nd best quarterback in the class and the best player in the state of Texas. As a junior, Russell had 3,500 yards and 38 touchdowns, and many believe he's a lot like Jalen Milroe, but a better passer. In the state of Utah, we have Jet New. He's a 3-star quarterback from Lehigh High School who's committed to Oklahoma. He's the 83rd ranked quarterback in the class and the 20th best player in the state. He wasn't a huge prospect until his junior year, as he threw for over 3,000 yards and 33 touchdowns. He's more of a pocket passer than the typical Oklahoma quarterback we've seen the last few years, so it'll be interesting to see how he works out. In the state of Vermont, there's also nobody. In the state of Virginia, we have a Torrey Newkirk. He's got a fascinating story. Coming out of Maury High School in Norfolk, Virginia, he's the 3rd quarterback on the list that signed with UNC. He's the 22nd ranked QB in the class of 2025 and the 13th best player in the state. In his first year starting, he went 15-0 and won a state title with 3,700 yards and 44 touchdowns, as well as 760 yards on the ground with 13 touchdowns. I remember the guy went from like a 2-star to a 4-star in a couple of weeks. In the state of Washington, we have Colton Matson. He's a 3-star quarterback from Lake Stevens, the same school that had Jacob Eason, and he's committed to the D2 Central Washington Wildcats. He's the 119th best quarterback in the class, and as a junior, he threw for 3,400 yards and 49 touchdowns, and led them to a 2nd straight state title game where he was also their starting quarterback. He's a poised veteran, and this is a big get for Central Washington. In the state of West Virginia, we have Coy Fagan. He's a 3-star from Martinsburg, West Virginia, who's committed to Marshall. He's the 111th ranked athlete and the 3rd best player in the state. He went 14-0 with 2,300 yards and 33 touchdowns through the air, with also nearly 2,000 yards and 28 touchdowns on the ground. He has the title of one of the fastest quarterbacks in the entire class and chose to play in the Sun Belt instead of the Big 12. In the state of Wisconsin, we have Vance Holt. He's the 3-star quarterback from Arrowhead High School, and he committed to Western Michigan. He's the 148th best QB in the class and the 20th best player in the state. As a senior, he threw for just under 2,000 yards and 18 touchdowns, but is talked about as a building project with a high ceiling, especially for the MAC. Western Michigan is excited to have him, and he could take over as a starter there soon. Last but not least, we have Mason Drube from the state of Wyoming. He's a 3-star from Campbell County High School, and he's committed to the in-state Wyoming Cowboys. He's the 52nd best quarterback in the class, and he might be the most highly touted recruit to come out of Wyoming in over a decade. His family has always been Cowboys though, so that's why he stayed in state, and as a senior, he threw for 2,400 yards and 24 touchdowns. So yeah, This was a pretty long video, and there's a lot of numbers being thrown at you, but this was the top quarterback recruit from each and every state in America, at least the ones that had it, and let me know your thoughts. Who is your favorite player from your state? Should I do more videos like this? And before you go, don't forget to also leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and check out some of the videos on the end screen. Hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.